Hey guys, John from ARTV. Time for a review of the new project from Jack Antonoff, the guitarist of Fun, formerly of Steel Train as well. The new project is titled Bleachers, a name that kind of gets stuck in my head for some reason. I don't know why that rings a bell with me, but the name of the record is Strange Desire. Is this man a one-band wonder, or can he really balance two bands at once? Antonoff seemed like he was out to prove that he could do two after releasing the blisteringly fun I Wanna Get Better debut single from this project, Bleachers. Apparently he's been working on this in the back of a bus while touring around the country and other countries with Fun. I really thought I was gonna like this record after hearing and loving that single I Wanna Get Better so much. It has a screeching guitar solo in it mixed with all these electronic flourishes, these really high falsetto vocals that actually work, a little bit of everything there on that track, and just a fast, fun pace that actually separated themselves and Jack from Fun into something new, while at the same time having elements that kind of felt like they flowed over from Fun and maybe even Steel Train, the quirkiness of Steel Train, and just translated into this cool new thing. Upon listening to the record, I found myself completely disenchanted with the direction that the majority of these tracks chose to take. Kind of throwing his hat in the ring with all these other groups that are going 80s, but not doing it in a way that actually is interesting, and the results are even weaker than you might imagine. The music is often the real downfall of this record, choosing to kind of aimlessly wander around and not really progress this album forward. It has all these overarching themes throughout the record. There's this girl and her wild heart. You'll hear about it on the first opening track, Wild Heart. You'll hear about it again on the Wild Heart Reprise. You'll hear about it again, track after track. And it just feels like beating a dead horse, like he did not have anything else to write about. But like I said though, the music is often a weak point as well, choosing not to really utilize his guitar skills here, but rather just to push the light synthesizers, some keys here and there, some programmed drums, some auto-tune effects on the vocals, which really just comes off cheesy, but we'll get to more of that in just a minute. Plenty of overarching themes on this record lyrically, including the fact that the album opens and closes on the phrase, "I really want to be grateful," which gets particularly annoying on the album's closer, "Who I Want You to Love." It is actually about a minute-and-a-half outro on that track, which is really a shame because I really like that track. It has this kind of a cool, laid-back indie feel mixed with a little bit of southern twang. Almost reminds me of maybe a cut off of the last John Mayer record, Paradise Valley. I don't know. It has a nice vibe about it, but then it's got that minute-and-a-half outro that just repeats the phrase over and over again, "I really want to be grateful." Before I get to the tracks that I really just cannot even stomach, why don't I point out some of the highlights that are actually worth checking out on this record. Shadow, Rollercoaster, two tracks that were released as promo singles prior to this full album release. Shadow has a slight edge in terms of interesting material. I think I like it because it offers up something new and unique compared to the rest of this LP. The vocals sound different once again. Jack honestly throughout this record sounds like 4 or 5 different vocalists, and I don't know if that's always a good thing or not, considering he feels very disconnected from the material at times. I think that the gang-style vocal approach on this particular track, Shadow, was a kind of a cool thing with this quickly paced synth line that makes this track very edgy. Minus the few bright spots that I've already mentioned, the rest of this record just feels kind of lackluster and on occasion, downright awful. The album hits its lowest of lows on the cut Take Me Away featuring electronic musician Grimes. Auto-tune plagues and ruins this cut. I can't even begin to tell you I don't understand why you would choose to do this. I understand sometimes it's done in a playful way or in a way that actually kind of adds something fun to the track, but here it just sounds like it's a cut off of the latest Future record. Oh, no, no, no. Skip it, skip it, skip it. Although not quite as bad, then we get to the track Wake Me, which still has a few elements that just make me cringe immediately when hearing it. Lines like, "I'd rather be sad with you than anywhere away from you," get repeated throughout this track and just irk me from a songwriting point of view. The track feels passionless, not only in the vocal department, but even in instrumentation. It sounds like it was written with Jack kind of looking out the back of a bus window on a really rainy day and not really exactly sure what to write about, so he just kind of murmurs his thoughts out loud or maybe into a journal. Then we get to a more interesting track that I'm not really sure how to feel about. It's called I'm Ready to Move On / Wild Heart Reprise. It makes random use of the one and only Yoko Ono. If you don't know who she is, Google her, you probably know who she is. It sounds downright weird, but I don't think I hate it. It sounds a lot like the track Menswear from the debut album from the 1975, something that I really loved, and I think that's kind of what intrigues me about this song. There's a few songs that I'm pretty much just indifferent on at this point, Reckless Love and You're Still a Mystery for example, but I'm really just not enjoying this Bleachers record at all. Antonoff is clearly capable of so much more. Just listen to any Fun record or any Steel Train record if you need proof of that. I Want to Get Better will probably end up in my top 50 songs of the year, but I don't think the majority of this record, besides maybe that track, Rollercoaster and Shadow, will be anything that I plan on revisiting in the future. 2 out of 5. Well guys, what did you think of Strange Desire? I'm curious to know what you're thinking. I know some people are probably going to disagree with me. Of course, let me know your opinion in the comments section, tastefully, respectfully of course, because keep in mind this is all just my opinion. Hit that like button, share the video with a friend, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. You can always click right here if you'd like to see my last review, or you can click here. That will take you to the second channel where I do track reviews, live hangouts with you guys, and that sort of thing. Thanks so much for watching. Of course, if you got a request for an album for me to review, let me know that in the comments as well, and I will see you very soon right here on ARTV, Beyond the Reviews.